Red Line Logbook here for Wistoria Chapter 15. And we start off where we left off with Yagnor saying that he's a failure. He explains the reason why he is considered a failure by his race is because he is the only elf left that's still in the academy at the 6th year. Basically all other elves already graduated to the tower at that point. And also his phantasmagoric is only an illusion. Unlike what we saw at the Crown game, where the elves literally created new landscapes that were real, he can't do that. So in both regards, he's seen as a failure as an elf. Will tries to argue against this, but he points out that anyone in their 6th year who hasn't gone to the tower is in the same boat as him. And that's where we see Clennette and Liana having the exact same conversation, where Liana explaining that they are unsold goods, inferior product. This is why both Yagnor and Julius were both offended when she said this, is because she was referring to everyone in their 6th year. Because if you're in your 6th year and you haven't gone to your tower yet, that means even if you do graduate and go to the tower, you did it through the credit system, which means you are the least talented. The truly talented were able to do it by either being selected by someone who's already in the tower, or they invented unique magic and made the tower that way. Anyone that is required to go up through the credit system are the lowest of the low. Obviously, because Elfie is the same age as all of them, she enlisted in her 1st year with Will and Clennette and everyone. And of course, Liana was there, and she witnessed a 1st year just ascend the tower and make it all the way to a Magi Wanda in the 6th year period that it took Liana to earn enough credits to make it to the tower. And in her eyes, this is a massive humiliation because it's basically making her realize that she'll never compare to them, those with real talent. So Yagnor ended up growing up with Eleanor, the Queen of the Elves, the one who became a Magi Wanda, and the two of them spend much of their childhood together. That is until one day, she casted her Phantasmagoria magic, and it created the Elven King Forest. Basically, she created a magical forest with the stroke of a wand, and this is what led her to go straight to the tower, and quickly became a Magi Wanda as a child, just like Elfie. Yagnor then did everything in his power to catch up to her, but it became quite clear that he just didn't have her level of talent, and every other elf that he ever interacted with basically referred to him as a failure, worthless. And so he straight up tells Will he is a failure, he is worthless, and Will should just go on without him. And Will's response is, that's why I felt like we were the same. Yeah, seriously, they literally have the exact same backstory. A failure pining after the woman he loves, who is a genius. Now understanding Yagnor's backstory, Will basically tells him, you are a genius elf. You will succeed, and I will succeed. And until you get back up on your feet, I will protect you. Come on, let's survive this dungeon together. Clennette then says a very similar thing to Liana, basically that she watched a boy without any talent, constantly ridiculed and hated, never give up, and continue to fight on. And she basically tells Liana that she should do the same. Will and Yagnor finally get on their feet and start fighting together, and Yagnor at a certain point realizes that a lot of the monsters they're fighting on the 11th floor are 5-overs. A 5-over is a monster that's worth more than 5 credits, which basically means they're a powerful monster. And so he quickly realizes, so this is the difference between the 11th and 10th floor. And as they're fighting, he witnesses Will slaughter monster after monster. He then realizes Will has an absurd level of stamina, and as he looks at him even closer, he then realizes that he's got wounds all over him. So he hasn't just insane level of stamina, he's been getting hurt while fighting. And Yagnor's only response to that is, my weakness is getting you hurt. He then tells Will that he should just throw him away like the elves did so he doesn't end up dead. And Will's response is basically that he likes Yagnor and he has no interest in doing that. And he actually has faith in him. That's when Kiki starts to freak out, and so the two of them get on high alert. Yagnor activates his search ability, but he can't sense anything. And the reason is because there is no monster. What's happening is the dungeon is currently giving birth to new monsters. The dungeon gives birth to 3 monsters called Burkers. Will freaks the fuck out, uses his explosives to stall time, and basically explains the situation where those are Bulkers. Yagnor immediately realizes the situation because Bulkers are 1, immune to physical attacks, and 2, have high resistance to magic. They're basically mage killers. The only way to kill them is with the elven magic Phantasmagoria. And so Will tells Yagnor, you have to be the one to save us. And Yagnor's only response is, I can't. Will tells him that I will defend you while you cast your spell. And Yagnor's response is, I will fail and you will die. Will then tells him it's okay to fail. That's not the problem. And don't worry, he's not going to die. Because just like Yagnor, he's trying to get to the woman he loves. He's trying to get to Elfie. So right here, right now, the two of them are going to make it out of this. And Yagnor's going to be the one to save them. Yagnor then realizes that's what Will meant when he said that the two of them were similar. So Will goes in to stall while Yagnor tries to figure out how to do this. And yeah, no, his sword just passes through them because they're just made of elemental fire. And all all Will can really do is just rely on Kiki and his sword to basically block the magical attacks that are being shot at him by the bulkers. In fact, Yagnor doesn't even try to use his elven magic first. He tries to just use a regular spell. Once again, they have magic resistance, so this doesn't work. Will is completely pinned down. He's about to die. He then gives one last push to Yagnor. Yagnor then flashes back to all the people who insulted him, and for the first time since he actually got encouragement, actually got any sense of respect by someone, he decides to push all of that anger, resentment, and shame down, all that trauma he's accumulated from his own race. And finally, Yagnor actually does it. Produces a real-life forest, not an illusion, a forest that completely crushes and destroys the bulkers. Will is completely impressed by this. He's got those starry eyes he gets, and Yagnor tells Will that he is a warrior worth respecting. And Will's response is, "You're also a man worth respecting." And they shake hands. So yeah, Yagnor is willing to touch Will now. So we can already see that Will's actually building up his team. This 5-man squad, well, 6 you count Losty, this will be the team that he graduates with and then decides to conquer the tower together. Truly an odd team, but I can definitely see them all becoming friends. Jefferson is kind of the hardest one to sell, but I have a feeling it's going to work out somehow. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, give a thumbs up so you can enjoy more Wistoria and other amazing things. Thank you and have a great day.